All right. Hello, classes. This is your asynchronous class. So you were just dismissed by me in the Class Connect, and now you are watching this video. So as we go along, I'm going to go through the lesson like I typically would do in a Class Connect, but this time there are opportunities for you to pause the video and complete the activities as you go along. So while I'm helping students get caught up with their reading inventory assessments, you guys will be working on the lesson to be caught up for the week. So if you have any questions or concerns, I will still be on the Class Connect, so you can always go back and ask me questions, or my email is always available to you. Just hit message the teacher. All right, so let's pick up where we left off on Monday. Just a reminder, if you still have not taken last week's quiz, you need to complete last week's quiz. You need to complete it this week. A lot of you were able to make it up yesterday, and I'm really proud of you for doing that. But if you still haven't, just check by hitting the grades button. And if you don't have a grade for your 106 quiz, then you need to take it before Friday. Thank you. So we're going to be continuing on with 107 and moving on to 108. We read The Storyteller on Monday, and some of our lesson goals today will be to use reading strategies to help you understand the storyteller, draw inferences about the storyteller and cite evidence that supports your inferences, and finally, we're going to explain the interactions between characters, events, and ideas. So let's review some key terms. So after I say the definition, I want you to pause and try and think about what is that word and see if you can fill it in before I give the answer. Okay, so we have the main message or understanding that an author wants to communicate to a reader. We have the overall main idea or message, what it's mostly about, and a guess that readers make using the clues the authors give them in a piece of writing. So right now, pause your video, see if you can match the word to the definition. We went over this on Monday. So the main message or understanding that an author wants to communicate to a reader is the theme. The overall main idea or message, what it's mostly about, is the central idea. And a guess that readers make using the clues the authors give them in a piece of writing is inference. So double check your answers right now. Were you correct, and were you able to define all three of those terms? If you weren't able to, please rewrite the definitions. Sometimes just writing it down again will let it stick in your long-term memory. Some words we learned on Monday were supporting details. A supporting detail is the sentences that give information about the main idea or topic sentence. A character trait is a quality, attribute, or characteristic that a person has, which the story we read on Monday, the whole story surrounded the character trait of goodness. So what happens to good people? And with both the stories we learned from the Ant and the Bachelor, very different things happen to good people based off of their experience. A couple new words we learned on Monday. The first one was explicit. So this is information that is stated clearly and in detail. So remember, we almost think of this as the opposite of inference. If inference is what we have to read between the lines, explicit is what's actually in the text. Evidence is the textual details that can support an interpretation. Textual evidence is the specific text that supports inferences. And close reading is an analysis of a literary work in its entirety, focusing on the elements that contribute to the work's meaning. So our activities we did on Monday covered these words, and today we're going to do a couple more activities that help us practice how to use these terms in our everyday close reading. So right now, let's do some of our get ready activities together. So let me go on K-12. And we're going to complete the 108 Get Ready activities. So let me get out of the student view so I can see it a little better. All right, we're going to do a look back, cite explicit evidence from literary text. You can just follow along on the screen. So let's look at the overview. When reading a literary text, you notice themes, ideas, and other details. To analyze what you have read, you need to be able to identify explicit evidence in the text. It is helpful to first understand these concepts. We just went over what these are, but let's just quickly go over them one more time. Central idea, what a literary text is mostly about. Usually it's one or two sentences. Theme is the main message that an author wants to communicate. Explicit is the information that is stated clearly and in detail. Evidence is the textual details that can support an interpretation. And finally, textual evidence is specific text that supports inferences. So let's explore some explicit versus inferential evidence. So identifying explicit evidence is in a literary text involves understanding the difference between details that are clearly stated and details that are open to interpretation. So we're going to select a card to learn more. Explicit evidence is information that is stated clearly and in detail in a text, leaving no doubt about the meaning. So an example of this would be the rain beat so hard against the window it made conversation difficult. And we have a picture of this. We know the rain was coming down hard because the text explicitly states it, right with the words. But inferential evidence is information that is concluded by the reader based on what is suggested in the text, but not clearly stated. So, for example, she grabbed her umbrella, dashed from the car to the house, but was still soaking wet. We might infer that it was raining hard, but we do not have explicit evidence of this from the text. And the reason why we know it's raining hard is because she grabbed her umbrella, she tried to get out of the rain, and it was soaking wet. So we can infer that it's raining even though it never said that in the sentence. All right. And our next activity we're going to do is learning a little bit more background on why we reread as a reading strategy. So remember how I talked about how key reading strategies always help us have a better understanding of what's going on in a text. And one of our key strategies is to reread, which you're going to do today. So rereading as a reading strategy. A story always reveals more of itself when you read it more than once. A second or even third journey through a story reveals details that you may have missed the first time through. During first reads, you're getting to know the characters and focusing on what will happen. Rereading helps you to comprehend and analyze the story's setting, characters, and plot, as well as appreciate all the details the author has included. In short, the more attention you pay to a story, the more enriching its contents becomes. Rereading does more than help fix story elements in your mind. It also helps you to better connect to those elements. You may learn the ways in which a narrator's point of view and word choice contribute to the plot. For instance, awareness of a story's connections allows you to fully experience the author's intended purpose of entertaining, informing, or persuading. All right. So what you're going to do today for your lesson, you're going to do three things. You're going to reread the storyteller. So remember, I posted right next to this video, I posted me reading the storyteller. So you're going to listen to that one more time. That's your read of the 10-7. So if you want to read it on the actual page, you can click on this activity right here, or you can listen with the YouTube video that is attached. Your next activity you're going to be doing is you're going to complete the 10-7 learn. And then finally, you're going to complete the 10-7 practice. All three of these things need to be done by the end of class. If you need help finding it, first, what I want you to do, if it's not in the class plan or you can't find it in the class plan, you're going to hit content. At the content button, so let me just show you. So if you're confused by the class plan, you can check here for the learn and practice first, or you can go up to content. And this is the way I see it, so it might look a little different for you. So go up to content, make sure you've hit number 1, reading and writing for life. Go all the way down to 108, the Storyteller B. This is our second day on Storyteller. And you're going to complete the 10-7 read, 10-7 learn, and 10-7 practice. That's all you're going to do today. And when you're done, what you need to do is double check your grades and make sure that you've turned in all your missing assignments. If you have a 0 in for an assignment, that means that you did not do it. So feel free to redo it unless it's a quiz. So make sure that your first priority is finishing last week's quiz, last week's discussion post, and then any other further back items you have missed. But if there are no more questions, then you are just going to work on this. Feel free to pop into the Class Connect to ask me questions or message me through K-12 email. All right. Thanks for being flexible today, guys, and letting me help other students take the reading inventory test. All right. I'll see you guys around. Bye.